Good morning, my name is Harleigh. If you're new here, I'm sorry for the long intro to today's video, but I didn't actually fancy speaking before this point. It is a Sunday, something of a Sunday vlog, but another video that I've been promising you guys for a really long time, like months since I think I did like my calendar organization and things, was a meal prep video, and people have asked me about this on my Instagram a fair few times. So today I basically just want to have like a Sunday vlog slash meal plan and meal prep. I will say meal plan and meal prep because I understand everyone's beef with meal prep. I understand people's beefs with reheating food. I understand people's problems with eating the same thing every single day, not fancying that, like after you've already made it and all that kind of stuff. I do also feel some of those things, which is why my spreadsheet and planning the foods I'm gonna eat rather than actually having cooked them all and put them all in the fridge sometimes is more important to me. If you've been around here before or you follow me on Instagram, if you don't, you should, by the way, you will know I don't really like to waste food, and I also like to finish all the food I have before I go and buy some more. Okay, that's not true. I don't like to, I force myself to. Grocery shopping, especially during the pandemic, became one of those things that it was one of the only things that we had left to do, and I was just buying food because I could. And I just had cupboards full of food, but no real meals or structures to make out of them. And that is kind of where I started planning actually what I was going to eat and looking at the ingredients I had in the house first before I went to the supermarket and bought any more, or you know, just stood at the empty cupboard like I don't have any food. It's like when you have a wardrobe full but you don't have anything to wear. That is how I was feeling. So if you're feeling similarly, or you're just interested in meal planning and meal prep, then this is going to be the video for you. Everything is making noise, but it's not motorbikes, it's the fridge. This fridge is now decided to just vibrate. I'm going to give you a little rundown of my spreadsheet. I am a spreadsheet nerd. This spreadsheet, as you can see, I have not touched since 5th of August. I have been off my meal prep game for a while. I basically just formulated this so that the date will always change. So today's date is the 19th of September. I'm only gonna really prep food for the next couple of days, but as I said, the difference between planning and prepping is not necessarily having all the food like pre-cooked in containers in the fridge, but just knowing what you're gonna cook to save you that moment of what's for dinner. So this section here at the bottom is just what I have, and this is kind of like my pantry supplies, but I just split it up between protein, carbs, fruit, veg, and then like other. Obviously this is not every single thing that I have in the cupboard, like crisps and things like that, like other, but this is all just ingredients, I guess. I find it really important to write down things on here, literally like frozen prawns, because later on you'll see as I actually go through this, I might put on here frozen prawns, and then I simultaneously might put like on my Google Cal, take the prawns out like on Monday morning or Sunday morning, whatever the date is. I think that's important to basically just note the condition of all your food. For example, this 8/8 is actually the expiry date. So that was obviously gonna expire on the 8th of August. This was, I think, what, the week of the 5th, did it say? Just so that I know, okay, this time sensitive thing here to plan in before the 8th. I'm gonna empty this out now and get in the cupboards and see what I've got. So I'm just gonna go through my pantry cupboard and basically list out exactly, as I showed you on the sheet, what category things fall into. I'll also do the fridge and the freezer and then regroup with you about actually picking meals. Okay, so it turns out things are not looking very good, as I realized, because I feel like I haven't eaten proper food in like 2 days. But anyway, I seem to be lacking protein, like especially fresh protein. I usually have tofu like cube, the marinated one. I think it's by Cauldron. We got hella carbs, but kind of, but not really. I don't know if you saw in the video, but I just literally stuck the whole bag of rice on the scales just to see roughly how much it was, because it's like not quite a bag. So I probably would buy rice even though I have a little bit of rice, just because number one, that's brown rice, can take 3 days to cook. And number two, there's just not very much there. So basically from this, I just like to work out if there are any meals that can be put together and just separately make a list. I will do it on my phone of the things that I'll need to make them. So already I can basically see that veggie duck, whole wheat noodles, even the cabbage and leek could come together for like a really easy stir fry, which is something that I have quite a lot. So I'm gonna plot and scheme and see what I come up with, and then head to the supermarket, get everything I need, and we can jump back into the spreadsheet when I'm working out what actually needs to be cooked and what doesn't. Actually, no, before we leave the spreadsheet, an important thing to consider before you start putting your meals in are the meals that you are just not gonna prep for. So for example, Thursday evening, I've got dinner reservations out. So I'm just gonna put on here, dinner out already. That's not a meal that I need to prep or plan for. And also seeing that dinner's out might make me, you know, change my decisions for what I might have for breakfast or lunch. So for people who say that they end up either wasting meal prep because they make meal prep and then make plans, if you're only planning for a few days or like 1 week, as I'm doing right now, then my plans for the next kind of week are already set. If you are more spontaneous, then go you, but I know where I'll be and what I'll be doing in the next few days. Therefore, I will or won't make meals around that. We interrupt this planning exercise to just share with you the app that I use for my grocery list. This is just To-Do List, which is an app by Microsoft. I've been using it since they killed Wunderlist. Wunderlist was my babe and they moved us onto this. So this is just literally a list that I put everything in, and then as you get it, you can just tick it off, it disappears. If you accidentally tick the wrong thing, it's just here and you can put it straight back. I don't even know if you can see this, but yeah. This is my grocery list of choice. I was literally just about to leave, and then I realized one more thing that I should probably talk about before I go shopping, in case this is something you're also writing a list in order of things to do when you go shopping, is to think about your containers situation. My meal prep as it stands is that I will be eating these meals at home. So if I really wanted to, I could put them in my bowls and like cover them and clean them, whatever I wanted to do. But I do have some containers. I don't have meal prep containers, I just have like Tupperware. So I have 3 that are just kind of like larger basically. And then I have 3 that are shallower and wider. They're both by the brand Systema. That is my Tupperware brand of choice. I have a few others that I've got something in the freezer I'm gonna get out that's in one of them. They're just my brand of choice. They're BPA-free plastics. They are reusable, which is, again, my preference. I don't know if any of the actual meal prep style separated container type things come in a reusable format. If they do, and that's your preference, grab those. If you wanna go for glass just because of reheating food, if you are using plastic, please aim to get reusable ones. BPA-free plastic is what you should really be looking for. If not, stick with glass and go forth and meal prep. This is today's shop. I'm gonna whiz through freezer stuff first just so I can get it in. These are not necessarily on the meal plan. Actually, they're my lunch today. But anyway, I find these to be super convenient. Yes, you're not always gonna fancy the meal, but have you also prepped for that moment? Like if it's something that you can push back to the next day without wasting, fine, but what are you gonna eat? And I always have to go to something that's gonna be ready in like 15 minutes. So that's why I like to keep these on deck. So I've got 2 bags of those. My chicken actually is just sitting under there for burrito bowls, which is one of the things I'm gonna make this week. Paratha breads, which go with the chickpea curry that I'm gonna make. Okra also for the chickpea curry, and hash browns for breakfast situations. Again, just something I like to keep near. Fresh stuff, just got green beans for my curry, full seed mix, something I like to put on my oatmeal, bananas for my smoothie and also for my oatmeal, mushrooms for everything, tomato puree for everything, grapes for snacks, bell peppers for everything, thyme, 10% broccoli because veggies, chickpeas for the curry, sweet corn, black beans for my burrito bowls, jalapenos also for my burrito bowls, lettuce for my burrito bowls, salsa and guac. I couldn't get a ripe avocado, they were literally just terrible, so we got, this actually isn't guac, this is just mashed avocado, but anyway. The seasonings that I needed, tofu, again, this is not something that I have in this week's meal prep exactly, but it lasts for quite a while, so I like to keep it on deck. Oat milk because always, and I spotted this, which I need protein powder, which I didn't expect to get in Tesco, but this is protein powder, and it's not like the best. It's quite a small packet and it's only 12 grams per 20 gram portion, but it was £3. Some preliminary prep before I get into like what I'm actually doing and everything, but of all the groceries that I just bought, this is all I'm actually kind of working with, bar like an onion. Disclaimer that I definitely do not lay out my stuff like this every time I cook. This is for YouTube. So I've literally just done the chopping. Chopping is a nightmare and I've had to like wash and handle this meat, so I just wanted to be off camera to do that so I didn't have picky hands. And I basically got kind of 2 identical bowls here of half of each bell pepper. This has a little white onion in it, this has red onion in it, so the chicken and these peppers are gonna make the kind of like fajita mix. This bowl of onions and peppers is actually a plan rather than a meal prep. This is going to be for the ackee dish that I'm going to make on, I think I'm making it on Tuesday, but I don't want to have to, oops, I don't want to have to make it now so far ahead of when I'm actually going to eat it. So I'm going to put this in the food bag and stick it in the fridge. I've diced a little bit of white onion here, which is going to go with my black beans. The rest of the diced onion that I have on the board here is actually going to go with my chickpeas. I have just washed my rice. I've got a tiny bit of onion in this pan, which is going to be what I start the rice on. These are basically the 3 pans that I've decided that I'm going to use. Let's see if I stick to it, but I don't just want to keep using pans after pans after pans. So I'm going to, as I said, get the rice going in there. I'm going to get the black beans going in here, and I'm going to get the curry going in here. Let's see how much of this I can actually effectively document for you guys. I have my headphones in. I didn't share with you before, but I basically started chopping at 3:40. And I think it took me around 15 minutes before I showed you my mise en place. And it's now 5:05. And yeah, everything's done. I've done black beans, I've done chicken, effectively like a fajita mix. I've done a chickpea curry. I've done a big batch of white rice that I split into two. So half of it is lamb coriander rice and half of it is just plain rice. I've already prepped the peppers and onions. Peppers and onions? peppers and onions for the ackee that I'm cooking on Wednesday, and I put that in a bag and just put that in the freezer. So I'll just literally straight from the freezer straight into the pan, no chopping necessary. Ackee's gonna come out of a tin, everything else is gonna come together very quickly. You may have spotted this bowl amongst the prep earlier, and this is just like a waste bowl. It's just ends of veg, literally, like nothing rotten, just ends and everything clean. Like I washed the green beans first before I chop them up. So this is also going into a freezer bag that I already have on the go, which ends up being my veg stock bag. I featured this in a video before, which I will link up there. I just want to talk to you a little bit about why I have packaged my meal prep the way I have. So you may notice that I have not put them into meals. It's not like one person's dish of each thing. And the reason being is that I don't like to. I don't think if you have a problem with meal prep that you're gonna like to either, and that might be part of your problem. Things go soggy, things, you know, run into each other. If I'd portioned out curry and rice in the kind of containers that I have, it would have just become curry rice because I don't have little sectionals or anything. And it also limits what you're gonna eat. So if you had portioned out, you know, one container of chicken, rice, broccoli, that's your meal. Whereas the kind of way that I prep this, I've got 2 types of rice. So if I'm making a burrito bowl, I have the option. I have a little teeny degree of choice between which rice I want to go for. The ingredients for the burrito bowls are lettuce, salsa, and guac. So again, because I've just kept the chicken and the beans separately, one of these days, this burrito bowl might just end up being a salad. Like I've got a whole lettuce in there, but I wouldn't have been able to do that if I'd already decided to like mix the burrito bowl. I've got sweet corn also on the side that I could just add into the rice one day. So you see my thinking, you see my vibes. I just want to keep things separately. Curries I also bought parathas for. They're in the freezer, so if I want them, I can have them. If not, they're in the freezer. If I want to have it with a little bit of rice, say I did turn it into a salad at lunchtime, so then I could have the rice at dinner time. There's just more options if you store your meal prep in this way. As I went to start prepping, I actually wanted to listen to a podcast, and I noticed that Bon Appetit's podcast is back. It used to be called the Bon Appetit podcast, I'm pretty sure. I can't remember now, it's been gone for so long since their scandal. And it's back now as Bon Appetit Food People, and it just so happens that the episode from last week is how do we make meal prep less depressing. I think they might have explained a little bit better than I did the difference between meal prepping and meal planning, and the 3 women that are talking on the podcast are all kind of anti meal prep. So hearing their kind of like opinions, shortcuts, hacks to make it less depressing, to make it more enjoyable, to make something you're going to stick with was great. And also all being like food writers and recipe developers, their emphasis is on food and flavor, not necessarily on like diet or finances. I am done here for today, but I'm going to pick the camera back up periodically throughout the week as I go through the meals. Outfit again because I recorded a video today, but anyway, this is gonna sound like a hashtag ad for meal prep, but it is 5:48. I've got to be in the pub at 6:30 and I haven't cooked or eaten, and I'm gonna do, tonight is the ackee night, so I am reaching for the bag of top veg I prepared earlier.